Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Unpacking Our Scripted Lives. So, my name is Samantha, and I know most of the times I don't mention my name. I don't even know why I said it. But, anyways, that's my name. And for those of you guys who are new, welcome to my lovely channel. On this channel, what I basically do is just unpack the scripted versions of our lives, our day-to-day lives. Some of the things that I talk about here are things that I've experienced, and some of the things that I do talk here, they're probably things that some people around me are probably experiencing. But either way, that's what we do here. So please don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell so that every time that I upload something, you will be notified. And I know, I promised you guys that I was gonna upload something with a guest, like the other part two of the other topic that I talked about before. But then it's been really, really difficult to find someone to come and join me because most of the people have gone home because now it's summer vacation. So most people traveled and some of them went back home. So it's really, really hard to find someone to join me on this show. But I'm really trying my best. So just be a little bit more patient with me. So today we're just gonna be unpacking the scripted version of single people. So hi there, my single people. Yeah, I know being single is already hard. Like some people are single by choice, and some people are not necessarily single by choice, but by the fact that you know I don't know, some circumstances or whatever it is. But then one thing that I just want to note before I dive into the points that I'm going to talk about is being single doesn't necessarily mean that you're lonely. And being single doesn't necessarily mean that you're unhappy. There's some people who are single and very, very happy with themselves, which is very good. And there's some people who are actually single but quite miserable. So it's more like a 50-50 thing. But then the one thing that I just wanted to point out, it means that being single doesn't just mean that you're lonely, because literally you don't need somebody else to make you happy. You can just make yourself happy, even though it's quite difficult because I also struggle with it sometimes. But then at the end of the day, it is what it is. So just because you're single, please don't, I just wanted to also say this, just because you're single, please don't be pressured into getting a relationship just because you feel like you need someone to make you happy, or you need someone to fulfill you, or you need someone else to complete you, or whatever it is. You can be complete on your own, you can be happy on your own. I mean, I don't know. There's some people who do it, who are actually quite happy being single for the rest of their lives or whatever. But for me, I can't. I need me a boo. So this whole thing of being single for the rest of my life, no, that's not gonna happen. But anyways, I'm not gonna really get too deep into this. But yeah, anyways, the first order of business that we're gonna talk about is the scripted version of single people is that, like, when you're single, you become independent. But then this scripted version doesn't only apply to single people, because you can be single and still be dependent on someone. You can also be in a relationship and still be independent. So it doesn't necessarily mean that just because you're single, then you have to be independent. Even though it's mostly you, yourself, and yourself when you're single. You don't necessarily need to be dependent on someone else, because it's just you and your small world, whatever it is. And this actually encourages you to like pursue your goals. And if you're in school, if you're in what in work, whatever it is, because trust me guys, when I was growing up, we're not allowed to have boyfriends. I don't know how old you were when you started having boyfriends and girlfriends or whatever it is, but when I was growing up, I was not allowed to have a boyfriend. I It's a little bit of a tough story to go and talk about, because my mom and dad do kind of watch this podcast, so I cannot really get too deep into this, otherwise they're gonna kill me when they find out the truth. But anyways, dating was not a thing, because like when they think that you dating is equals to you being a failure, or you dating is equals to you not being focused on your goals. But then it's not, that's not it, because you just have to find the balance. I mean, when you're in high school, people would have love affairs and whatever and whatever and whatever. But then it's like the people who were smarter, they were not having relationships, and the people who were dumber, they were the ones who were having relationships, which is kind of, I don't know, but then this is just the notion that when you're in school, just focus on school. Don't do boyfriends, don't do girlfriends. You need to just focus on school. But then, yeah, I mean, being single does let you spread off your wings and do more things that make you happy, or things that you want to do with your life, or goals that you want to pursue. But then all I'm just saying is it doesn't necessarily mean that if you're in a relationship you cannot be independent, you cannot pursue your goals. Of course, you're like limited to certain things that you can and cannot do, but that doesn't necessarily mean that even if you have a boyfriend, even if you're a girlfriend, you cannot pursue those goals. But then, yeah, that's the scripted version, that if you're single, then it entitles to you being independent or whatever. But then this whole thing actually of being independent and all that kind of leads to people like just waiting for the right person, which is, I don't know, it actually brings me to the second point, because you then just have to, the scripted version, another scripted version that single people tend to have is that when you're single, it's either you're single because you're waiting for the right person. Guys, does the right person actually exist? I don't know. I don't know if the right person exists. But then if they do exist, it kind of brings me back to the other topic that I talked about, um having the perfect girlfriend or whatever it is, even though I haven't released the second part of having a perfect boyfriend. But then I do have an argument when it comes to waiting for the right person, because I don't think the right person actually exists. Maybe it's me who's being delusional or whatever it is, but then I don't think the right person actually exists. But what I think is you can be you and the other person can come, and then you guys can be right for each other. But for you to sit back and relax and be like, I'm waiting for the right person to come. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, please let me know. But I do believe that a perfect person or a right person, you make your own perfect person and you make your own right person, in the sense that the person comes with their imperfections and you also come with the imperfections, then you guys meet, and then you make something right for yourselves, you make something perfect for yourselves, rather than just waiting and be like, okay, I need the right person, because the person might not always be right in all the things, all the aspects that you need in a partner. But if you embrace that person with their imperfections, if you embrace yourself with your imperfections, then you come together as one, and then you become right for each other. So this whole idea of, oh, I'm single because I'm waiting for the right person. Eh, eh. You might keep waiting for the rest of your life for that right person, and that right person never shows up your door. So this whole idea of waiting for the right person actually leads me to my next point of single people being into this whole thing of serial dating, or dating like a lot of people. Because once you're single, people tend to think that, oh, you have the right to do everything that you want to do, you can date whoever you want to date, you can be with whoever you want to be. I mean, it's true, but at the end of the day, it makes you not be able to commit to anyone, because all you're doing is, I'm looking for the right person, so you go on a date with this person, doesn't work out, you go on date with this person, doesn't work out, you end up going to on dates with like different people, you end up being in talking stages with like a lot of people. At the end of the day, you're confused, you're not able to narrow down your feelings to one person or to someone that you truly want to be with. In as much as the whole dating phase is interesting or whatever it is, but then there's also nothing like, come on guys, you need to sit down. And I don't know, I think the whole idea of dating a lot of people at the same time might be interesting for some people, I guess. But then, as other people also argue that the moment you start dating a lot of people or getting courtship with a lot of people, you're kind of like not giving yourself time to focus on one person. But also, a lot of people also talk about how difficult it is for you to focus on one person, because once that person starts giving you attitude or whatever it is, it ruins your whole mood, it ruins your everything. So now at the end of the day, you think, if I go out and I'm dating multiple people, even if this person trips, I still have plan B. Even if plan B trips, I still have plan C. And then this whole idea of serial dating just goes out there. But then in the long run, it might also be bad, because it doesn't necessarily let you feel or be in the moment with the person that you're with. So, single people, be warned. I mean, be aware of this thing where you don't necessarily have to commit to one person, or you end up doing a lot of dating. I mean, people necessarily do things they want to do, but at the end of the day, you just have to figure out what works for you. If the whole idea of dating multiple people at the same time works for you, then sure, go ahead and do it. But in my opinion, do I have an opinion? No, I don't. I don't have an opinion on this one because this is quite a debatable issue. Then I'm not really gonna get into deep with this. Another point is the scripted version of single people is that when you're single, you get more time to discover yourself, to love yourself, to spend time with yourself. Oh my God, all the podcasts or all the people that have listened to the talk, oh, when you're single, this is the time to discover yourself, spend time with yourself. I've got a few friends of mine who've told me that if you're single, you have to do this, love yourself more. I personally tried it. I tried it. This whole idea of self love, reinventing yourself, spending time with yourself. Yeah, now I'm actually an introvert and I enjoy it. But at first, it was really difficult. I'm like, how do I have fun with myself? How do I spend because I was based on the idea that I need a boyfriend or I need friends to be happy, whatever it is. So at the end of the day, you end up putting yourself in situations where you just end up being in a relationship with someone just because you feel lonely or just because you're not happy. But then when you take time to spend time with yourself and self love, like everyone says, which is quite difficult. I don't want to lie to you. This is very, very difficult. The whole idea of spending time with yourself, you're like, how am I going to spend time with myself? What do I do? But for me, I like to watch movies. I like to listen to some music. I like to try out new restaurants. I like to spend time with my friends. Like, I enjoy being in my personal bubble. I enjoy spending time in my room, not doing anything. And if I hear someone knock on my door, I'm like, oh my God, who's that? I get annoyed when I hear someone knock on my door. I mean, no offense to to you, my friends, but then yeah, this is some of the things that single people have to go through. Not that I'm claiming that I'm single. I'm not single. Anyways, yeah. So I mean, these are some of the things that are being said about single people. Like, at the end of the day, the whole idea of single people being labeled as independent people, self-discovery people, self-focused people, and all those labels that are scripted around being single, there are some of the things that pressure people into getting in relationships that they're not ready for, into getting partners that they're not ready for, partners that they do not need. So at the end of the day, it's just overwhelming and it's just too much and it's drowning. It's everything you can think of. So one thing to keep in mind is being single doesn't equate to being lonely, and being single doesn't equate to being unhappy or happy either. It's quite a controversial thing. So yeah, that's all. If you're single and you're happy, continue being happy. If you're single and you do meet someone who makes you happy, then sure, go ahead, try it out. But then it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to spend the rest of your life alone. And also another thing with the society is when you're single, then nobody wants you. Nah, there are some people who actually want you, but then you're just content with yourself and you're choosing to be alone until you're ready, or until you feel like this is the right time for me to be in a relationship. So don't be pressured into getting in relationships when you're not ready just because of what the society think. If you're 40 and you're still single, then so be it. If you're 20 and you're still single, so be it. Don't be pressured into getting relationships when you're not ready or when you don't feel like you're ready. So with that being said, we've reached the end of this episode. Funny enough, I literally recorded this whole episode without cutting it down or stopping it, because most of the times I record a video for like 2-3 times, cutting it when I say some things that I didn't intend to say, or things that I that kind of thing. So today I actually recorded this whole full marathon without stopping or anything. I'm proud of myself. Yay. Anyways, guys, have a great week and take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next video. Mwah, mwah. Bye.